Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, a quick video here talking about the remaining offer sheet targets. We still haven't seen an offer sheet happen at this point in time, and we'll look at the few options that are still alive for an offer sheet and who's maybe the most likely. We'll touch on all of this in our upcoming video coming up right now. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here at the End-to-End Hockey channel. Now before we get started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming out in the next little while. But in today's video, we got a very interesting one here for you guys. We're talking about the last handful of potential offer sheet candidates. Now as I'm recording this video, we just heard the news about the arbitration cases. Byram and McBain being taken to arbitration by their teams. And then we saw 11 other players choose to go to arbitration, and any players who go to arbitration are now no longer offer sheet eligible. So very interesting to note there is that took 13 players who were offer sheet eligible off of the table. So very interesting to note there. They also need certain age requirements, so there are also still a handful of players who are not offer sheet eligible. So at this current point in time, as of the recording of this video, I think there are 13 or 14, maybe 15 guys who are offer sheet eligible, but a handful of them make no sense for teams to make an offer sheet. Like Jack Thompson and Daniel Gushchin in San Jose make no sense for the more AHL level guys, and the Sharks have the cap space to match. Crevier makes no sense to match with the Hawks having a whole bunch of cap space. Faitia, same thing in Columbus, and Sabrango's an AHL player. Like no one's going to offer sheet him from Ottawa. So if we discount those guys, there are another 7 potential offer sheet options I want to look at here today that I think could still wind up being taken by some interested parties. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But we'll go over to the lowest option that I think will wind up potentially getting offer sheet, and that's Thomas Bordello. Bordello in the New Jersey Devils organization had no points in one NHL game this past year, so was mostly AHL level guy after he had I think 11 points or something in 27 games the year prior with San Jose. Was dealt to New Jersey just after free agency opened. The Devils at this point in time have not yet signed him, so they do need to try and sign him. Now I think he's unlikely to sign because at this point in time I don't think any teams have seen enough of him at the NHL level to offer sheet him, and I think if a team were to offer sheet him, it would have to be for like $2.34 million, and for at best at this point like third or fourth line guy, I don't think that makes a whole bunch of sense. So I definitely think Bordello's on the low end side of potentially being offer sheeted, but he is the 7th option I do think that it could wind up being offer sheeted. The 6th option in my opinion to potentially get offer sheeted still is Ryker Evans in Seattle, the former 2nd round pick. Had his breakout season this past year, had 5 goals, 25 points in 73 games. Looks like eventually he's going to be a solid second pair defenseman. Now, the Kraken do have over $10 million in cap space, so I definitely think they would match any sort of offer sheet that would come their way. I think you'd have to at least give him the $4.68 million offer sheet, which will be a 2nd round pick in compensation, and I'm not sure if there'll be a whole bunch of teams who will be willing to give up a 2nd round pick. And at $4.68 million, even though it would be probably a little bit more on the expensive side, I could definitely see Seattle try and match that offer. So we shall wait and see on that. But Ryker Evans is another one. Another guy is 2nd line center in the Calgary Flames organization, Connor Zary. Zary is a very interesting case. The Flames have I think over $12-13 million in cap space, so they could sign him at this point in time, but he still hasn't been signed. He had 13 goals and 27 points in 54 games this past year. Was a little bit injured, but I think long term is going to be a solid 50, maybe 60 point 2nd line center if he can stay healthy. And I think for a lot of teams could be a very solid 2nd line center. Now at this point in time, I do think that the Flames will probably still sign him. I think it would probably take in the $7 million mark, which would be a 1st and 3rd round pick as compensation for a team to really try and pry him out of Calgary. I could see maybe 1 or 2 teams do that if they were in desperate need of a 2nd line center. I think it'd probably be more likely of a trade to happen, but at this point in time I definitely do think we could see a Zary offer sheet. He's the 5th most likely in my opinion, even though I think you'd have to go to the $7.02 million to offer sheet him, so I'll have to wait and see on that. Another guy is in the National Prayers organization, Luke Evangelista. Evangelista had 10 goals and 32 points in 60 games this past year. Looks like he's going to be a really solid middle 6 winger going forward. Now I'm not sure why the Prayers still have not signed him yet. I wonder if he's asking for a little bit too much money. So if there was a team out there who wanted a middle 6 winger, was willing to maybe pay the $4.68 million ask for a 2nd round pick, and could wind up working out really well in that team system. I could see Evangelista be offer sheeted. I think he's more likely than a lot of people do think, but the Preds also do have, I think, close to $15 million in cap space. So if there was a team out there who really wanted to offer sheet him, I do wonder the Predators would probably match. So we're going to have to wait and see on that, but he's like the top winner, in my opinion, available left in the free agent market, the restricted free agent market. And I definitely think if the Predators weren't really too high on him and a team offered $4.68 million on an offer sheet, I think the Predators would definitely consider that not matching. So we shall wait and see on that, but I'd keep your eye on Luke Evangelista. Two other ones are ones that seem to be in the rumor mill right now when it comes to trade possibilities, but it's also a possibility to be offer sheeted, and that's with the Ducks in the Wild. Marco Rossi and Mason McTavish. McTavish had 22 goals, 52 points in 76 games this past year. Rossi 24 goals, 60 points in 82 games. A lot of people out there right now think that McTavish's name is out there, that after some of the Ducks movement, bringing Granlund, bringing Kreider, they may not see McTavish as a long-term fit, and that's why they haven't signed to an extension yet, which could lead to other teams trying to offer sheet him. For the Wild, we know they really do want to sign Rossi and could view him as like a second line center, but Rossi's really upset with his placement in the playoffs, and on top of that really wants a high AAV, something that the Wild don't really want to do right now. Now the Ducks have over 20 million in cap space, the Wild have over 10 million in cap space, so I definitely do think that it would be hard to do an offer sheet. I think you'd have to do a first, second, third round pick compensation for McTavish, which would be a $9.36 million offer sheet, and I think you'd have to do a first and third round pick compensation for Rossi, which would be a $7.02 million AAV offer sheet. But there are a lot of teams out there who really need some legit second line centers, and I think both Rossi and McTavish in the right organizations can be second line centers. So even though they do have cap space, and I do think they probably will wind up coming to terms on deals, I do think Rossi and McTavish are two of the more likelier offer sheet candidates left in the NHL right now, so keep your eye on those two guys. And the one that I think is the most likely at this point to be offer sheeted is probably one that's a little bit surprising to you guys, and that's Alex Holtz in Vegas. Now Holtz in Vegas didn't get too much opportunity last year at the NHL level. 4 goals, 12 points in 53 games with Vegas. Was mostly a healthy scratch to get into some NHL games, but after being acquired by Vegas from New Jersey in a trade last offseason, didn't really fit in overly well. He's one of the few Vegas Golden Knights that still have not yet been signed and is still offer sheet eligible. Now, if a team were to offer Holtz $2.34 million, which would be a third round pick in compensation, I definitely think that the Golden Knights would not accept that, because the Golden Knights are already pressed up against the cap enough as it is, with Pietrangelo's cap going on long-term injury reserve. So I think there could be one or two teams out there that if they really do feel like Holtz, who was a former top 10 pick in the first round a few years back, still has that ceiling to be like a solid 20-30 goal scorer in the right situation, be a solid middle six guy. I would not be one bit surprised if Holtz was this year's Dylan Holloway, where he has had some opportunities at the NHL level, hasn't really clicked, and maybe on a new team with a bigger role, Holtz could find that role that he's looking for to really unblock his potential. So I definitely think with the Knights' tight cap situation, Holtz would probably be the most likely of these RFAs that I just mentioned to be offer sheeted, because I definitely think a third round pick in compensation and a $2.34 million AAV would just be enough to get Holtz out of Vegas. So we shall wait and see on that. But those are the 7 offer sheet options I think are still out there and potential to be offer sheeted. McTavish in Anaheim, Rossi in Minnesota, Holtz in Vegas, Bordello in New Jersey, Evangelista in Nashville, Zary in Calgary, as well as Evans in Seattle. So I think all those guys are very likely chance to get offer sheeted, and there's a very likely chance that maybe only one of them gets offer sheeted, if any of them get offer sheeted. But I definitely do think those are the 7 most likely options after all the arbitration cases happen. So very interesting out there. But that's all I'm going to talk for today. I loved your guys' thoughts. Do you think any one of those 7 players gets offer sheeted? And if they do, which teams do you think are most likely to attempt an offer sheet for those players? And would the Wild, Ducks, Knights, or other teams match? Definitely love your thoughts on all of that down in the comment section below. That's all I'm going to talk for today. Remember to like this video, and if you like to subscribe below. Thank you for all of your support. I would never be able to do this with all of you guys. So if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe button down below. Don't forget to comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Don't forget to stay tuned for more videos coming out in the near future. I also do a blog to my news, rumors, analysis, stuff like that. So remember to check that out. I'll link to that down in the description below. Cannot wait to see you guys all for the next video. See you guys soon.